Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, several years ago, well, let me correct that. Several decades ago, I graduated from Boston University School of Law. I then was assigned as a Air Force judge advocate to MacDill Air Force Base. When I came there, I ran into a tech sergeant by the name of John McLaughlin. John immediately keenly evaluated me and said, "You know nothing about the Air Force, you know nothing about the law, and you probably know nothing about nothing." He said, "I think you ought to go down to Toastmasters. They meet on the second floor of the Sheraton Hotel." So I stumbled into Toastmasters, and what a group of people it was. All men. All men in those years, Toastmasters was. Al Austin was a part of that club. Al's dad owned all of the land north of the interstate on West Shore Boulevard. Al developed the 3 buildings on the east side of West Shore Boulevard. He then built a little mountain and put a movie theater at the corner of Cypress and West Shore. About 3 or 4 years later, he tore down that building, he tore down the mountain, and built the West Shore Marriott Hotel. After that, he built the Omni Hotel across the street. After that, he built an office building to the south of it, and after that, he built 4 or 5 office buildings on the west side of Marriott. Al came to Toastmasters. His advocation, though, was to contribute and support to the cause of Republican candidates for office. And in fact, he hosted Presidents Ronald and Nancy Reagan, as well as the George Bush Sr. and his wife Barbara at that Marriott Hotel. He is probably the most significant person responsible for bringing the Republican convention to Tampa in August this year. Al wasn't alone, because we also had a gentleman by the name of Don Ward. Doc Ward owned the Avalon Medical Hospital down on North Florida Avenue, about 4 or 5 blocks north of Metropolitan Ministries. And Don introduced us to the good works of Metropolitan Ministries so many, many, many years ago. We also had Stan Weaver, who's still a member of this club, and Jack Boldrick, who died last year in October. Jack was a member of this club until the day he died. We also had Wayne Spur, and Wayne Spur had this enormous baritone voice. He, you would think, belonged in radio or television. He was an IBM genius. In fact, his advocation was that he bought a Heathkit color television set that came to his home in about 2,500 parts, and he put it together. He had the first high-definition color television set anybody could ever imagine, and it was wonderful, the best TV anybody could ever have seen. We also had a banker by the name of Frank Preston. He was the president of the Ellis National Bank. Yes, it was quite a group. The men's club, the Toastmasters club. Then all of a sudden, along came this person who knocked on the door. And her name was Lynette Brown. Lynette also was a banker. She said, "I'd like to join you." And we said, "Well, wait a minute. We're really the last bastion of male superiority. Do we really need this?" However, the Treasury was a little bit down. We figured she wouldn't last long anyway, so we voted on her, and she became a member. She also became the president of the club. After the doors were broken down, hordes of women came in, of course. I can't imagine why, but they did. One of those women was a lady by the name of Marie Swingley. And Marie Swingley was one of the last people of our generation who was inflicted by polio. She spent her entire adult life in a wheelchair. However, when she spoke, everybody listened. When she gave an evaluation, you better pay attention, because she'd chop you off at the knees if you didn't follow the instructions that manual assignment required of you. What a bright lady she was. Another young lady came to Toastmasters. She was from the Drug Abuse Comprehensive Coordinating Office. I'm not sure if she was a patient or if she was a staff member there. However, I soon found out that she was a very, very special person, because in 1983, Joan Noble and I were married, and most of the Tampa Toastmasters came to our wedding. In 1986, our son Jeff was born, and for the next 18 years, Joan and I came on alternating Monday nights, so we didn't have to place our son with a babysitter, or as time went on with other individuals, for Monday night meetings. It was quite an experience. Now, last fall, Craig Michael became a little bit frustrated. He said, Perkins has closed. I don't know where we're going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. And Joan and I both talked to him. We said, well, you didn't create this problem, and it's going to be solved. Just don't get too excited about it. Within about a week, Merrill Friend came down here to the Village Inn, talked to the manager, and here we are. Now, that was one of the easiest predictions I could ever make, I believe, because this club, I'll tell you the list. This club first met at the downtown Sheraton. We went from there to the Holiday Inn downtown, from there to the Exchange Bank, from there to Sambo's Restaurant on South Del Mabry, from there to Steak and Ale on West Shore, from there to the Western Sizzler on Kennedy, from there to El Carmelo's on Armenia, from there to the Morrison Cafeteria on South Del Mabry, then to the Piccadilly Cafeteria on West Shore Plaza, then to Poor Folks on Del Mabry, then to Perkins on Del Mabry, then to La Teresita for about 4 or 5 meetings, then to Perkins on Waters, and now to the Village Inn. We've closed down 11 restaurants in this town.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a pretty good bet that we were going to find another place to stay, and in fact we did. Toastmasters has been very good. Been good to me. I've been blessed to serve as area governor. I've been blessed to serve as division governor. When I was area governor, I was awarded this plaque. I think a great deal of it. It was Area Governor of the Year, awarded by Toastmasters International. And I received that award back a couple of decades ago, but that's okay. We won't talk about that. I also presented at the International Convention when it was held in Orlando back in the 1980s. So why do I stay in Toastmasters? I stay because this is where opportunity and self-development meet. I stay because of Merrill Friend, and I stay because of David Bond and Joan and Karen Rafferty. I stay because this is the place I want to be. I just can't think of a better place to spend Monday night. Mr. Toastmaster.